Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is a truck camping trip with a hot tent setup. And as you guys can see, I've got my gigantic stove placed centrally inside of the tent. So I am going to be cooking and eating and doing all kinds of stuff both indoors and outdoors during this trip. And I wanted to bring the big stove just to have a little bit more surface area and just to see how it performs in this tent. So I'm going to be sleeping most likely off to this side. I haven't decided yet whether I want to be on that side or this side, but I'll figure that out in a little bit. I do have a sectioned titanium pipe for this trip, so I did not bring a roll-up pipe. So this is also another testing kind of piece that I want to use today. And so far, so good. I like it. So I'm going to be getting my sleeping gear all out of the truck, bring it over here and choose which side I want to sleep on. I also brought a table and a chair, so basically I'm going to have a living room area and a cooking area inside of the tent if it does rain. It is forecasted to, but it's sunny right now, so who knows what will happen. I also have an outdoor fire pit just behind the camera that I want to be spending some time around this evening. So I'm going to continue getting set up, and then I'll bring you guys up to speed with where we're at. All right, guys, well, I'm just about totally set up inside of the tent, and as you guys can see, it is looking like a home away from home. So this is definitely not a hiking lightweight trip. This is a comfortable overlanding truck style trip. I've got my table, I've got my chair, stove, bedding area over by the camera. I've got all kinds of luxuries on this trip. So this is a setup that I would typically use if I were traveling long distances or away from home for a long time. This isn't a simple one-nighter, even though I am only staying here one night. I just want to show another method of camping, another way of camping, so you guys that don't hike, or maybe you guys are into truck camping and you don't want to be in the truck, you want to be out in a tent. This is another way to do that. So I have a load of gear with me today, and I'm just going to bring you guys up to speed with my plans for later on. So I do have my titanium grill. I'm hoping to get that over the fire and cook up some supper with that. I've also got my kettle. I've got a 750 pot and my cup. So this is actually my French press for coffee. Now I brought a couple different methods of coffee this trip because I'm going to be grinding coffee, and I like coffee different ways. You guys know that. So we brought the mocha pot. That is a must-have for wood stoves. Get that cracking in the morning. It's beautiful coffee. Got my spice kit. I've got all kinds of little odds and ends. I did even bring my Star Wars table. Pretty awesome, right? So I'm going to be setting that up most likely outdoors. I may get it set up here in the evening, but I like to keep the area kind of mobile so I can move around a little bit. So I don't want to have it crowded too much, which is why I have it set the way I have it set today. And those of you who are staring at the wok, yes, I do have the titanium wok with me today. I've got all kinds of stuff in here. I'm just going to lay all this out on the table and clean that up in a moment. But yes, I did bring my titanium wok. I have not used this since last season, probably last winter actually. So we'll get some of this stuff burned out of here. This is 100% titanium. For whoever's wondering, this is not a seasoned carbon wok. It is titanium. It was a gift sent to me. I don't have any brand name on it or anything like that, but you can find similar on Amazon and everywhere else on the internet. They're not cheap. They are very expensive. So this was a personal gift to me, titanium wok, and I absolutely love it. So I'm going to be using that over the campfire this evening for supper. And I think right now I'm just going to take a few more moments and organize the area, because this clutter is going to drive me insane. I don't like clutter. So I'm going to get all this straightened up and then most likely head outside and have a look at the firewood situation. All right, guys, firewood prep is totally done. I've got it all cut and split for both the inside and the outside fire. Now, talking about firewood real quick, this stuff is absolutely dry and it is all hardwood. So I basically left all the stuff inside of the tent in rounds. I do have a few pieces that I split, but I want to leave it in rounds so it'll burn really low and slow because I don't want it getting too hot in here, and this big wood stove will put out some heat. So hopefully going with the hardwood and leaving them in the round form and damping it down will help me out tonight. Now, last year when I came to this location, I drug out probably 6 or 8 pieces of basically trees, old trees that are cut down from the logging industry, and those were sitting over by the fire pit all winter, all spring, all summer. So that stuff is totally dry, and it was super easy to cut through, and it was right there in a pile. So win-win on this location, and the firewood definitely going to help me out a little later on. Now, the weatherman did tell me it was supposed to rain and be cloudy today, and if you guys can tell by all the sunshine, it's not a cloudy day anymore. It did start off cloudy, but it is sunny out there. The temperatures are still pretty cool though. We get a nice cold breeze coming right through the tent, through the front door and the back door. I also have all the vents in the tent opened up. So the 4 roof vents are open and the 2 lower vents by the front door are open. So that should offer quite a bit of ventilation. But this sunshine's not really my vibe. I was really hoping for a cloudy day. So who knows, maybe later on tonight the clouds will roll in and maybe we'll get some rain. Maybe we'll get lucky, who knows. But for now, I am going to enjoy my coffee. I'm going to be sitting right here and relax for a few moments. And next time you guys catch up with me will probably be around supper time. So I'm probably just going to kick around, relax for a while, enjoy my coffee, and I'll see you guys around supper time. All right, guys, so it is much later in the day right now. As you guys can see behind me, I've got the campfire going. I'm just getting ready to start on supper. So I'll let you guys know what I'm going to be doing right away. I'm going to be taking the wok, getting that on the fire. And I have a bag of tortellini pasta. So that's going to get cooked in the wok. I also have some spinach. I've got some feta cheese, some olive oil. I got a huge container of vegetables that I just pulled out of the truck refrigerator. So in here I've got some really thick cut bacon, I've got some green onion, mushrooms, red onion, all kinds of stuff. So I'm going to start getting my vegetables sliced up here. And basically what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to cook all the pasta. Yeah, I'll cook the pasta first and then I'll transport it into my 750 ml pot, get the lid on that, and that can stay in there. And then I'll get the vegetables cooking in the wok with some oil. And the bacon I may do last in the wok because it's probably going to make a mess of it. The bacon's not going in the pasta. That's going to be like a little side appetizer after dinner, so kind of like a little finger food snack. You guys will see what I've got planned for that later on. So I'm going to get started right now with my veggies. Get this out of here, and I think I'm just going to do mushrooms and onion. for this pasta. So I've got loads of mushroom here. We'll get all these sliced up, get them placed inside of a pan up here and ready for the wok, and then I could transport that over there. Right now the fire is very, very big, so there's no way I can cook on that right now. I've got to let that come down to coals, and then I'll be able to move my wok over there and get the water on with the pasta. So might as well do something while we're waiting, right? All right, so we'll let that water come to a gentle boil and get the pasta in there. All the vegetables are prepped and ready to go, so hopefully this will all come together rather smoothly. The sun is behind the trees right now, so it's actually kind of getting cloudy over there as well, so who knows, maybe those clouds will roll in. As long as the wind stayed down, because I don't want any embers blowing towards the tent. That's probably my greatest fear right now, is a big gust of wind. Now I am kind of in this little cove area of like trees, like a little U-shaped cutout, so these are going to block the wind pretty good, but it still can get windy in here. Just a matter of a big gust kind of twirling around in here and throwing embers all over the place. So I'm going to be watching that fire very, very carefully. I've got about 25 bottles of water with me in the truck, so if anything does happen, I'll be able to come out, douse it out, and take care of it that way. But I think I'm going to enjoy the campfire this evening. I got to say, it's getting quite chilly out right now, and I do got my sweater in the truck, so who knows, might even have to get out the wool sweater for the first time this year and throw that on and give it a test run, but we'll see what happens. I'm very excited for this dinner. I'm absolutely starving, and I hope it doesn't take too long to cook. So that looks like that's doing really well. Gonna let that come up the temp, get the pasta in there, and start cooking some food. All right, supper is all done and I am absolutely stuffed. I don't think I'm going to be doing bacon tonight. Man, that was a lot of food, I'm telling you. It was good, but it was a lot of food. So I've already cleaned out the wok full of food and residue and whatnot, and I've placed it over top of the fire to burn any scent off and really get it clean, which is typically what I do. Just throw it in the fire, burn it all off. It's titanium, nothing's going to happen to it. I'm not worried about it. And I am going to start getting ready for the evening. There is a chill in the air, so you guys will notice I got my sweater on now. There is a noticeable chill, and going inside of the tent, just cleaning up, my sleeping pad was half empty. So that's the difference between the hot day, the warm air, and now the night air setting in. So that's a pretty drastic difference. So I am very, very happy it is cooling down. The bugs have seemed to kind of gone away, and it's very quiet out here now. Very, very quiet. I can still hear some crickets in the background, a couple squirrels bouncing around the trees and whatnot. So I think it's going to be a nice and quiet evening tonight. So there are a few things that I need to do before it does get dark. One, finish cleaning that wok, let that do its thing on autopilot there. But the second thing I got to do is get all my lights hung inside of the tent, so I'll have some lighting this evening. And I'm going to be getting a battery unit out of the truck, bringing it into the tent and hanging some lights. So I think now is a good time to go do that. Alright, so I've got my battery unit, my cell phone charge cable, my charger for my camera batteries. I did move the truck as well, so it was over there. I moved it over to this area because there are a couple photos that I'm looking around here and I really want to get later on tonight, and the truck was blocking one of those photos. So hopefully with the truck over here, two things, it's out of my way, and then two, tomorrow I've got the back of the truck right over here next to the tent, so it'll be easy to just load the tent and carry on my way. So I'm going to get all this stuff over to the tent, get it all rigged up now, and then I won't have to worry about it later on. Alright guys, so let me run you through tonight's lighting setup inside of the tent really quickly. Now, I'm not using the inner tent, so that means all of these hooks all along the tent are just vacant little hooks, and they're great for hanging things off of, especially making a clothesline in wintertime. You can hang your clothing up high and dry it out, all kinds of possibilities with those. And today I'm utilizing them to hang my lights. So over here, just above my tabletop, I've got one light hung there, and you can see the wire going all the way down the side. I've got that plugged into a portable small battery bank with the switch over there. So when I'm sitting here in my chair tonight, I'll be able to work at the table, have the wood stove pointing this way. I can load wood in and out, and just have a nice little sitting area. Now over here behind me, just above my sleeping area, I've got another light bulb hung just above, and then I got the wire doing the same thing, running all the way down the side while utilizing those clips. And I've got my battery bank over on the side. So that's my Nightcore MPS 400. I've got the light bulb plugged in there. I've got my cell phone plugged in there. And I've got my battery charger for my camera plugged in there. And I'm also going to be charging up a headlamp shortly. So that's positioned over there and not over here, because I want it away from the wood stove. I don't want that battery getting too hot. And second reason, it's an on-off switch. I can roll over, press the power button, shut all the power off on this side of the tent without having to get up and come over here. So that's the lighting set up. I'm going to be getting out of the tent now, going to go check on my walk, and if that's all finished, I think it's time for a cold drink. Well, wok came out really nice and clean. No more food residue inside, so it'll be good for later on or possibly in the morning if I do need it. This is something I do very often, and I actually have a video explaining how to do this. Very simple, and it works really good. The only problem is you want to make sure all that black soot underneath is burned off. I took it off really early, so if I wanted to get that off, all I got to do is pop it on the fire and let it burn really hot for about 30 minutes, as it is just literally wiping off on my hands. So if I want to clean that up, I can. I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave it on the ground. I could even just kind of use some grass and kind of buff it up if I really wanted to. I'm not too concerned about it. So I'll wash my hands off, and that'll be done for the wok, I believe. I don't think I'm going to need it later on tonight. Like I said, I'm stuffed. That food was... That was a lot. That was a lot of food, and it was really good. But I do have snacks later on inside of the tent, and I'm talking like 10 o'clock at night. If I want something just before I brush my teeth and go to bed, I'll eat that and then head to bed. But I think right now I'm just going to relax. I've got a cold beer here, and I've got the sun setting directly in front of me. Golden light everywhere. It's all through the treetops, all behind me is nothing but golden light. So this is pretty awesome. And the temperature is still coming down. I could feel it getting colder and colder, so who knows, I might be able to get out the wool sweater. Maybe, maybe not, we'll see. All right, so it's finally that time to jump in the tent and enjoy some of this heat. So I gotta say, it is definitely warm in here. I do have the back door still wide open. The front door's totally shut. And already I can feel that I'm gonna be down into a t-shirt in no time. So I'm gonna be getting out of these pants and these shoes very shortly. I've got everything that I need here for tonight. If I do want to cook, I've got the wood stove. I've got plenty of bottle of water down here, so if I do find myself getting thirsty or hot, I've got bottled water down there. And I've got some breakfast items in here as well for tomorrow morning. So the lighting in here is absolutely spot on. I love these little light bulbs. They light up the whole tent. I was really excited to get both of them in here at the same time, and I think that is definitely what I'm going to do for now on. Just those two lights light up the entire tent. Very, very nice feel inside of here. So this is definitely enjoyable, guys. I've got the stove opened up right now, the draft and the damper. I'm trying to burn off some of the blackness on the window. And the reason why it's blackened is because when I was out getting my photos, I was constantly coming inside, opening the draft and shutting the draft on purpose to make it smoke a lot so I can get my photos outside with the smoke coming out of the chimney. Well, doing that causes a lot of turbulence and a lot of soot and a lot of carbon and whatnot, and it blackens the window. So after I come inside of the tent, I like to open up the draft and the draft and the damper both wide open, and that'll burn off the black off the windows rather quickly, usually about a half hour once it's burning really strong. And after that, I'll be able to load in some fresh hardwood, some of those rounds, and damp it back down and have a nice clean picture window. So that's what I'm working on right now. All right, so I'm all changed. I got my comfy pants on. I got some fresh socks on. Might as well get my feet out of these shoes, let them breathe a little bit. And I'm probably just going to keep this long sleeve shirt on where I do have this door open. There is a cool draft coming in, but it is nice and warm inside of here. So I've got my phone set up here. Now I did get a new case for my phone with one of these little kickstands on it. So now when I'm out, boom, I can just prop it up like that, and I've got a nice little kickstand phone there to watch movies and whatnot. And I often sometimes use that as a camera to film as well. So I'm going to start relaxing. I do have one more cold drink with me, so just ran to the truck and grabbed that out of the refrigerator. Might as well pop into this guy. We'll have to gather that bottle cap. Uh-oh. That was a close one. All right, get that bottle cap off the ground so we don't leave that behind. Knife somewhere is handy where I can reach it just in case, because you never know. And I'm going to start my movie now, guys. So I'll check in with you just before bedtime and when I'm all done with my movie and all that fun stuff. So see you guys soon. All right, guys, well, checking in with you just before I go to bed. It is very, very warm in here. I've got the stove burning nice and hot right now. I'm going to damp it down in just a moment. I've got my top quilt out. I'm going to let that loft up for a moment. And all in all, very good night. I did watch 2 movies, just finished up brushing my teeth, and I'm ready for bed. So I'm very, very tired. I want to be up early in the morning tomorrow, too, to have some coffee and oatmeal, get the stove rocking, and see what the weather is like. So I got to get all these lights off and get in my top quilt and head off to bed. So good night, guys, and I'll see you first thing in the morning for coffee. Good morning, guys. It is a beautiful morning out here. It is crisp and cool, and we are just above the frost point. So the interior of the tent is quite wet with condensation. If the camera picks that up, it is very, very wet inside of here because I did not burn the stove all night. Now, once this burns for about an hour, all of this will dry out. That, and with the front door wide open, that'll introduce a lot of airflow inside of here, plus cooking, a lot of steam and moisture. It's bound to happen, so as long as I don't brush up against the sides too much, I won't have an issue. I stayed totally dry all night over in the sleeping area, and I was warm all night with that top quilt. So right now, I'm just going through some breakfast routines. So I've got all my bacon out of the truck refrigerator, and I've got some of it on the stove right now sizzling away. I've got a hot cup of coffee from the mocha pot, and I've got some oatmeal with peanut butter. So I just mixed in a whole bunch of peanut butter in there, and I think it's probably cooled down enough to eat, and that looks delicious. Creamy peanut butter with some regular oatmeal and some maple brown sugar oatmeal mixed all together. So I'm gonna eat my oatmeal up. I'm gonna let that bacon cook really, really slow, and hopefully this will all come together. I've got a lot of bacon to cook, so hopefully it'll all come together really nicely, and I won't be messing around with cooking all morning. So I'm gonna enjoy this, guys, and I'll catch up with you as soon as I'm done. All right, guys, so I've got 3 pieces of bacon cooked, 3 more on the stove, and I'm just putting them in my coffee cup. My coffee's all gone, so this is what I wanted to do last night. So I brought with me Heinz Wasabioli. I know that sounds pretty crazy. What it is it's basically mayo that's wasabi, garlic, aioli sauce. So wasabi mayo, essentially. So let's give this a go. Shake it up first. And there should be a nice kick on this bacon. I was going to do this last night, but guys, I was just stuffed. That was too much food. Alright, so let's get a good dollop of it on there. And maybe use this other piece of bacon to kind of spread it out. You get a 2-for-1 there. Oh, wow. Mmm. Oh, yeah. Mmm. That is really good. That is really good. I've had this for a while at home. I think I've only had maybe 1 or 2 dishes with it. Mmm. Mmm. Wasabi bacon with mayo. That's really good. So if you guys can see, I probably got, oh, I don't know, 8 more pieces of bacon to cook. 3 on the stove right now. Flip these guys. I'm trying not to burn them. I've got the stove damped down quite a bit right now. So it is burning nice and low. And I've got the damper halfway shut, so it's holding a lot of heat, retaining a lot of heat. And I like pushing the pan right up against the stovepipe because that's where most of the heat's going to be inside of the stove. And if you want to simmer, bring it more towards the front. So that's what I got going on right now, right over the hottest part of the stove. Got some nice rounds of hardwood in there baking away right now. So yeah, this is pretty awesome. This bacon is delicious. Give another slab of that. Now, one thing, when cooking bacon in the backcountry, in a tent, which is exactly what I'm doing, it doesn't matter if your truck is 15 feet away like mine is. If a bear wants to come walking in the door, he's gonna come walking in the door. So I got both doors open intentionally right now so I can kind of listen and look and see what's going on outside, just to keep an eye, because that smell is going all through the forest right now. And it is delicious, and I'm not giving it up for any bear. Oh man. Should have did that a long time ago. That was really good. The wasabi. The wasabi comes through. I would like the wasabi to be much stronger. Maybe I'll mix up a batch at home and add more wasabi. That's really good though. So I'm going to cook up all this bacon, keeping an eye on my surroundings, of course, like I already said. And after that, it'll probably be pack up time. Probably get the stove cooled down and start getting some camping gear packed away. And yeah, it's just kind of leisure morning, but I'm going to enjoy this bacon for sure. Alright guys, everything is totally packed up and I am ready to hit the road. So to recap on everything, the tent worked awesome, the stove was very nice and warm. Those stovepipe sections came apart very easily once they cooled off for about 10 minutes. I got two sections totally blue and purple, one section kind of golden, and then the rest are natural titanium. So I may shuffle them around next time to get some even color going through the pipes. Everything went really well. As you guys can see, the amount of moisture that was in the air is just out of this world. So it didn't frost last night, but I mean the truck is soaked. The inside of the tent was a little wet with all the condensation where I did not burn the stove all night. If you want to avoid that, burn your stove all night. I just don't like it. I'd much rather get some sleep, wake up in the morning, and then light the stove. So all in all, food was excellent on this trip. Everything is totally cleaned up. And I even stashed some firewood off in the woods for the next time I come here, hopefully maybe later in the fall or in the winter time. But that is all I got for you guys. If you have any questions or comments, drop it down in the comment section and I'll be sure to get back to you. Peace out guys, and thanks for watching.